So what you missed was this. And of course, my youth picture of me, Sivot. And of course, where I live, near Belgrade. And you also missed that great transgalactic hitchhiker's guide to the galaxy. A must-have gadget in your collection, but the Earth indeed mostly harmless. So I already told you about Melvin, but unfortunately very depressed. So with a bit of luck, you may now see the little travel that I made. It's not a time lapse, it's a real time travel that you will see. And here I am. I sort of, well, nearly crash landed actually on a campsite near Paris. And to make people not too noisy, I sort of camouflaged my landing pod as a nice mid-sized camper van. There are not many people here, but they don't know what I'm doing here. But on the earth, there is so many people, all stacked together, and you're so different. Some people are boring, some people are curious, some people are nasty, people ignoring people, other people. There's some are funny, happy, stressed. And one way or another, sometimes they even work together. It's really, really strange, all those people. So I'll share with you some of my observations. Actually, you're all involved in IT or something like that, wasn't it? And IT is about computers, eh? Yeah, because we actually don't build computers anymore. Where I am, we don't program them anymore. We just tell them what to do. It's much easier. But computers, or are we talking about services? Because I heard something that you were talking about service management. Yeah, or is it actually about people? Well, let's have a look. You talk about service. I also have the definition of service. You can read it, of course, but combination of application, you call it software. You got all this poor programmers spending hard days typing all that stuff in the computer. Not needed anymore. You should actually automate all that. Make all those programmers completely obsolete. That's it. Obsolete. Yeah. Infrastructure that builds itself. But the only thing that really, really makes a difference is support. That helps really that people can do things they need to do for the job. I call that sort of the three musketeers. One for all for one. And service is about people. People, okay. And what do people actually need to be happy and to properly work? What do you actually need to properly work? There once was a psychologist called Maslow, and he was into pyramids, not the Egyptian ones, the pyramids of self-actualization. And I said, okay, first thing that people want to be happy and to be able to do something are the so-called psychological needs. Here on this level: air, food, shelter, sleep, clothing. The actual word here was sex, but okay, he's a psychologist. For many people nowadays, also Wi-Fi becomes some sort of physiological need. But in a second level, when those first needs are actually satisfied, you can say, hey, I need somewhat more. I need personal security. I need employment. I need resources. I need health. Well, health for this moment is a little bit tricky with all that virus stuff that you have here on the earth. I read about it. So silly. We have the tool that makes it disappear. But I'm sorry, I forgot to bring it with me. We also want to belong to something or somewhere so that we can have our self-esteem, respect. We want to have respect from others, and we also want to respect ourselves. And that's when you have all those levels fulfilled, you come into what they call self-actualization. That's where you're in flow. That's where you are performing. That's where you are really happy. And that's actually the standard thing. But many of you work in enterprises, etc. So this is for yourself, but how about enterprises? Well, still, you need those food, water, sleep, warm, etc. And security, stability. But you also want to have job security. I want to be sure that next week and next month and next year I still will have a job. And I also I'm a social animal, so I have work relations, professional associations, other kind of people, and that with my job title, my prestige, I am senior, whatever. That helps. That brings my self-actualization. But beware. Now, some manager, we talk about managers a bit later, but some manager may at a certain moment say, hey, what we actually want is to change a lot of things. We're going to change everything. You need to reapply for your own job. Yeah, wait a minute. I was at this level. I was happy. I was in flow, etc. And now you're nibbling here on my job security. I don't even know whether I will have a job next month, next year. So actually, I fall down in my pyramid. I end up in this level trying to find safety for myself, safety for my family, because if I have no job, no money. So I'm no longer in flow. I'm no longer performing. Actually, stupid of that organization that they did that. But sometimes it happens. And the only thing that I want to say is I think managers, senior managers, should be aware of this. I've seen it happen. I'm watching the earth from a long time. I saw it in a big organization. They said, we're going to reorganize. Well, the moment the manager was off the floor, everyone was chit-chatting together. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? How about you? Production? Zero. So this is quite tricky. And yeah, career, growth, competencies. Talk about that. But actually, your career is simply your responsibility. Your boss doesn't care about your career. As long as you do what you do now and you do it well, your boss has a very good idea that you should actually be staying there because you perform, you're well, etc. So growing, more competencies? Nah, actually not. But what actually happens? There's something like itSMF, very, very peculiar set of books. Actually, very, very good sleeping stuff. If you ever can't sleep, take an itSMF book. 3 pages, you're out for the night. Great. And itSMF started, as you may know, in the infrastructure. And then they came up with services. a service life cycle. And all of a sudden, the service life cycle is dead. And the new ITIL books are telling us a whole lot of things about management, about people. They even set up something like this. For a certain job, you must have leader capacities and coordinator capacities and technical capacities. They don't go much further than this. So how on earth should you develop that? What is the way to get there? I am now a technical expert, but perhaps I might want to become a coordinator. What to do? Is there a coordinator certification course? Don't know. Is anyone going to help me here? Don't know. So, is ITIL helping me here? Not really. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But there are a lot of nice things in ITIL. All of a sudden, some authors of ITIL have discovered the human being, and that's good news. Because what did I say? Service is people, and people is you. Okay, that doesn't help very much. What may help in that case? Sophia, the skills framework for the information age, for instance. Yeah, but that's a nice picture, Zefot, but I can't read it. Well, I'll try to enlarge it a little bit. What you actually see here is that you have your levels of responsibilities who are from follow, I'm a very junior, I assist, I apply, here I initiate, I influence, I set strategy, etc. So that may give you a growth path in different activities, in information strategy, in business change implementation, system development, service management, support, anything. So look that up, dig in it, and try to figure out where you are now and where you want to be next year, the year after, etc. And then try to find out how you can get there. That Sophia doesn't tell you, but people in your environment can tell you. If you see somebody who is working at level 4 or 5 of, for instance, information governance, ask this person what made that he came there. Go after him, talk to him, or her, of course, and then try to get other jobs to do so. You are the master of your career, not your boss. So what does the company do to help you? What does your company do to help you? Is there a career development program? Quite often not. You should ask for that. Because what is very important also for companies is that they have people that are loyal, that feel happy at the company, that have a heart for the company, even though the company doesn't have a heart for them, perhaps. So these people, that's what organizations need to know, and that's how organizations should actually help people to get there. But yeah, then organizations need management. And management is done by managers. That's a weird kind of people. Managers. Yeah. What are they? Are they human, actually? Well, some of them I'm not so sure. But beware. I observed on the earth managers that were like boosting up, going into the sky. And when you find them now on LinkedIn, they're looking for a next challenge. They've fallen down. So what are they lacking, those managers? Do they have a heart for the people they work with? Do they understand the people they work with? Do they have something like an emotional intelligence? Do they grasp what is bothering you? Are they helping you? Not, you say? You can change, you know. If you're not happy where you are, then change. Choose another manager. Fire your manager. Actually, it means quitting the organization and go somewhere else. But it can be done. It's not that painful. Oh, you're afraid that you made a wrong choice. Yeah, that can happen. Bad luck. But you're always able to make another choice. Somewhere in the universe, you'll find what you need. But take care of picking your manager. That's one of the top you don't want. The boss, that's a real manager. He does nothing. He says, I am important and you pull my card. You can also have work with a leader. That's an inspirational person. That is someone who actually makes you want to follow him. That's somebody who is inspirational, who helps you go forward, who helps you develop. Say, what do you all do this, Battle Gerritsen? Yeah, we did it. We don't need it anymore now. Everybody's equal. And all the work that had to be done is automized. So I have time to travel. That's great. But what's the difference between a boss and a leader? You see here the little list. What is very nice is the boss says, I. You worked yourself into the sweat as being one of those sheep here. And your boss said, I did it. That's good. Boss uses people. They take the credit. They say go. A leader is actually somebody else. A leader coaches his colleagues, his employees, generates enthusiasm, understands people, has indeed this emotional intelligence, this connecting with people. He says we, and quite often he actually means you. He might say, we did it, but sometimes he even says, and you did it. Yeah, but you were there too. Yeah, but I am facilitating. That's another way of working. This is nice for the military. And even then, also in the military, you got people who think and who have capability of thinking that you should actually use as manager or leader. So your leader also gives credit. Okay, David did it. Wow. Actually, it is important leaders listen to people. Because if they don't listen to people, they will be surrounded by people with nothing to say. But if you don't listen to me, I don't want to be near you. I don't want to work with you. Yeah. Of course, there are different styles of leadership. Here you see the leadership. This is what you actually, this is military directive. You go there and you get shot. And I stay here and nothing's going wrong. If you see very old movies and things of very old armies, the leader, the king, was always up front. He was on the first horse. Now the leader doesn't even come out of his bunker. He does everything on distance. Of course, there are people who want to persuade you. there's a cookie here, there's money here, come and get it, you need to do something. Sometimes they also try to help. That may not very good work, or they delegate. That means that they actually do nothing themselves, and you're in the middle of a whole pile of work. So choose your manager, or choose to become manager. But in that case, invest in social skills, invest in communication skills, invest in empathy, invest in social intelligence and emotional intelligence, that you understand what people are doing, why people are there, and what those people are doing for you. And sometimes look over your shoulder. This is a nice one, especially the third bullet point. But if you really have people behind you that are following you, that are with you, that are also reinforcing you, then you're a leader, or you're very close to a leader and you follow that leader. And actually, I can't say it better. And ITIL has actually come up with something that is servant leadership. Oh, does that mean that I as a leader will serve you work and then you go? No, it is a leader that will actually create the conditions in which you can work. That's the leader that's different. Managers around this leader will say, yeah, I don't know how this guy works or whatever. He doesn't give orders. The people just work. And they even work together. They work in autonomous teams. Wow, that is new. Well, not that new actually. It was the 80s of your former century that already Volvo started to work in teams. Normally a car factory, there's a chain, they're building cars on the chain, and some people whole day do this or that, and they never see the car. They never understand the whole thing, what they're doing. And that doesn't work. Oh, ITIL has talked about this. Guiding principles. Work holistically. These kind of things. But that demands another way of management. That demands that managers trust people. Trust people? Trust employees, you mean? But those people can't be trusted. They're lazy. Yes? And is that wrong? If you're so lazy that you automate everything that you should do, you're keen, you're clever, you can do more things. But this is also a cultural thing. Some managers say, yeah, but I am the manager, I have to give the orders, otherwise they don't do anything. Well, try to responsibilize the people. Give them responsibility. Have them appreciate their initiatives. Have them work together. What happened, let's say, decade, 2 decades ago in IT? Oh, you had those developers, software developers. They created software. And when it was ready, they went to this very big wall that separates the operations from the programmers and the development, and then threw something over the wall. And they said, run it! And now some guys in Belgium came up with this idea of DevOps. Genius! DevOps, they work together. They are responsible together. The only thing that's missing is actually the business. So that's why some people are talking about biz DevOps. try to work together to make sure that it's being done. Or take a spaceship and come to us. You'll never get there, you're slow. But by the time you're there, you will have discovered that you can automate a whole lot of things. And that nasty, repetitive work is no longer needed. But this servant leadership, that's a thing. And do you think that as of tomorrow, all leaders and all managers will be servant leaders and managers? No way. They've never done that. They've never worked with people who do that. So they need to learn. They need to get there. They need to be coached. So all of a sudden, this whole ITIL that was about fixing incidents, fixing problems, doing changes, technical stuff, it becomes all of a sudden very, very human. Wow. The only thing that I have a little bit against ITIL, they describe it in such a difficult way. They come with so many concepts. You're swamped in concepts. And some of those concepts are presented as new. Kanban. Yeah, what a nonsense. In the 80s, in every garage, there was a plan board. Cars to fix, cars we're fixing currently, cars that are done. And all of a sudden it comes from Japan, and it's new. It's strange. You're strange people, actually. You should perhaps look in the mirror a little bit more. And also look at your company culture. I think this guy is so right. So very right. So, well, this was what I actually wanted to present to you, but now the question is, do you have remarks, questions? Should we discuss about this? So I think I need to stop sharing my screen to be able to see your chat box and see what comes up. Is anyone reacting? Yeah, people are reacting. I see. I'm perhaps seeing the wrong chat box.
Peter, they're really the question and answers corner. We have here one question. What do you think why there are still managers who don't see that it is important to work with people and their potential?
Well, yeah, that's a big question, but I think they've never been used to. They have never encountered managers who understand people and managers who try to grasp and to how to say that, to exploit the potential in people. And so those managers should actually go and look for things. It's not that easy. If you've done a certain way of working for 10 years, 20 years, it's difficult to change. Because changing as a human being is horribly difficult. I'll give you an assignment. To feel what happens when you change. I suppose on Earth you still all take sometimes a shower. In the morning, in the evening, once a week, once a month, I don't care. And where do you start when your body is all wet and you're done and you will start drying? Where do you start? On what part of your body do you start? Most people start here at the head. Why? Yeah, apparently a certain Newton has discovered gravity, and since then water is going down, so it's good to start with the head. Yeah, well, if you were on a spaceship and you have no gravity control, it doesn't matter where you start, you're wet everywhere. So your assignment is, next time you take a shower, tonight, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, Try to start drying yourself somewhere else, with your hand or your arm or your leg. You feel disturbed. Yeah, but that's not how we done it. But that actually is resistance. And people are afraid of changing. People are afraid of leaving the comfort zone they're in. And that's what we need to do. That's what we've done around Battle Goes. That's why I have the possibility to travel, to come to you, to talk to you. Great. So I hope this sort of answers your question. But it can't happen overnight. It will take some time. And some managers will never get there. And some others may say, oh, wow. So try to find those little lights, those little flickering lights in organizations that actually work like that have this emotional intelligence, the social skills to actually create situations where you get the best out of people. Any other questions? I fear not.
We cannot see any.
No,
So,
no.
dear participants, feel free to raise your question.
Or do you think I just told nonsense? New question.
New question, indeed.
What happens when machines take control over us? Well, I can tell you by experience that's weird. You can already experience it. Try to hire a Tesla and put it in auto drive mode. You will be freaked out. Is he on time going to switch the lane? Is he? But when you get used to it, you relax. The stress goes. You say, okay, I can pay attention to much more interesting things in life. I like relations with other people. While sleeping while traveling. Traveling is actually so boring. Being somewhere, that is interesting, okay. But of course, we need to keep a certain control over the machines. We don't want to be completely run by machines. And by the way, well, I showed you my friend, the robot Melvin. If you're surrounded by machines that are plainly paranoid or plainly depressive, etc., that's not nice either. And we tried to reprogram Melvin, but it didn't work. By the way, do you know that the Earth actually is not a planet that just started to exist? No, it has been built by very intellectual space people from far away from Earth. It has been built. It's actually a big machine. It's a big computer. You're part of that computer. And if you want to know all about that, you want to know all about why the mice are actually so important, read this book, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And there's a whole series of those books. Much less sleepier than idle books. Real fun. Berserk. And you also learn more about me. Any more? Dare to be different. Dare to ask a question. Or was Anonymous the only person listening? A new one coming in. Yes, people can change. Absolutely. They can change. And some of them are even very eager to change. But sometimes they need a little help. Sometimes they're sort of blocked in the situation in which they are. But any person can change. Of course, if you're old and you have old habits, etc., it's difficult to throw them away. But it can. What also needs to change, actually, in organizations is the culture. I'm now in Paris. Well, when you go to a French organization and you make an error, you're heavily punished. You may even be fired. How stupid. Okay, I'm not going to reward somebody who made an error with 10,000 euros extra bonus. No, but any error is a chance to learn. It's a chance to improve. And that is what people need to do. Have a more mindset of an athlete. Constantly asking yourself at the end of the day or at the end of an action, what did I do well? What did I do not so well? How can I do better? What can I learn? And that's where people start changing, start actually positively going in the right way. So yes, I believe people can change. So is that another? I see. Why do you think managers are afraid of empowering their teams? Well, I think some of them are afraid of losing control. I think also that some of them will have the idea, yeah, but we become obsolete. And it may even happen. The situation at Volvo where I talked about, and just Google modern social technique, Volvo, you'll see that they built a factory completely different where teams actually took over and teams decided. But of course, we need managers to help teams guiding so that everybody is working and is supporting the strategy of the organization. If you are working in independent teams, in DevOps teams in an organization, you say, yeah, we've broken down the silos. We now work together. Yeah. And then you work with 20 DevOps teams next to each other without communicating between each other. You create new silos. So beware what's happening and make sure that indeed the managers and depending on how at what level those managers are, that they will give power to the teams and that they will actually work on that. If you go to Google and you type in the keywords management submarine, you may fall on a little presentation of a guy where a submarine captain who was always ordering his staff at a certain moment gave responsibility to their staff. And actually the whole working in that organization and the submarine went better and better. So yeah, people may be afraid of the unknown. People may have resistance to change, to change their way of working, the way of working of their teams. But the moment they experience how good it can work, they will do it. Don't worry. I'm an optimist, I know. And I will say an optimist for the rest of my life. The face of my handy friend. Oh. There he is. And there I am.